This video is brought to you by channel partner 4 years running Squarespace. They just refreshed their already industry-leading website creation toolset, making it easier than ever before to build the perfect website for your business, your project, or just for fun. They're offering a special discount to viewers of this channel, so stick around to the end of the video to learn more.
Alright, so a bit of a late one, but it would be a shame for me to miss out on talking about this game given how much fun I had with it. A little while ago, I spent about a day with the closed beta of Wildgate, the sci-fi ship-based PvPvE game from Moonshot Games. This is a new studio made up of a ton of former Blizzard developers, and they're also being published under Dreamhaven, a publishing label spun up by Mike Morhaime, who was one of the founding fathers of Blizzard. I bring that up because I think it explains a lot about why I was so impressed with what I saw of Wildgate. Say what you will about Blizzard, and certainly there's a lot to say, but I think one thing that many of us can agree on is that their games generally have three core qualities. They have great art direction, they're polished, and they've got a very tight gameplay loop. After some hands-on time with it, it's clear to me that much of that Blizzard DNA is present here in Wildgate. Its presentation, its combat, the overall gameplay loop of looting, building up your ship, then fighting other ships with not a dull moment in between, it's all very strong and very cohesive. They have basically taken the best parts of Sea of Thieves and then added some depth to it with a physics-driven sandbox, solid gunplay, unique character classes, and then condensed that whole experience into these action-packed 15 to 20 minute matches. And that's a very Blizzard-like way of doing things, I think. To take something that works, refine the formula, and then give it that extra zhuzh. Moonshot Games know exactly what kind of game they want Wildgate to be, how they want matches to play out, and have executed on that vision exceedingly well. I mean, I'll just say it, the 8 or so hours I spent with this was genuinely some of the most fun I've had in a PvP game, and I was playing solo. Similar to how I felt about Helldivers 2, that fun factor is also just immediately apparent from the moment you load into your first match. You don't have to go digging for it or play tens of hours before you can finally understand the appeal. But this isn't just a well-constructed PvP game. More than anything, it feels fresh. Like, actually genuinely fresh. I think Void Crew and the upcoming Jump Ship are the closest comparisons I can think of, but notably, they don't have PvP, which offers a fundamentally different kind of experience. Wildgate might be best described then as Sea of Thieves in space, but I think that too is oversimplifying things. It draws inspiration from a number of other games and genres, culminating in something that doesn't quite fall into any existing bucket. Who knows what the future holds for this thing, but what I can say is that Moonshot Games have made a hell of a first impression here with a game that feels uniquely its own, remarkably polished, and an absolute blast to play. Before I spend the next little while glazing this game, let me just give you the rundown of what this is. So this is a match-based PvPvE game where 5 teams of 4 players load into a large procedurally generated map. To win, you either need to be the last crew standing or find a little MacGuffin known as the Artifact and escape with it through a portal known as the Wildgate. Literally the name of the game. The thing is, the Wildgate doesn't actually appear until later in the match, so in the meantime, you're going to be cruising around looking for the artifact or for points of interest to plunder, all with the persistent threat of other ships doing the same thing. Basically, I would picture a condensed match-based version of Sea of Thieves, but in space, and you're most of the way there. It has that chaotic maintenance element where you need to be on top of manually addressing fires and broken windows to keep the ship intact. It has a similar gameplay structure too, in the sense that you're always looking out for the next location to explore, often having to deal with AI enemies to get to your loot, and some of those enemies are no slouch. But instead of being rewarded with treasure to sell for pieces of 8, here you're nabbing immediate, tangible upgrades for the ship. This includes various cannon types, from long-range lasers to shotgun blasts to slow-moving bombs. You can arrange them how you please too. So for example, if there's an enemy ship approaching from behind and they're quite far out, you might put the railguns at the back, but as they get closer, you might decide to swap them for your shotgun cannons. There are also modules that you can manually install on the ship for fast faster turn speed, a higher shield capacity, to automatically close and lock doors, or to give your ship a giant chainsaw lightsaber thing to grind up enemy ships when ramming into them. Then there's also other fun stuff that you yourself can use, like thrusters that you can attach to any point of an enemy ship to push them off course, or a handheld tractor beam to pull them in. That's one of my favorite things about this game, actually. The fact that basically everything here is physics-based. This has cool traversal implications, like with this grapple hook that you can use to throw yourself, or this sick turbine thing that builds momentum as you hold the trigger. But it also forces you to be really conscious about space. There's no storage area that your equipment gets slotted into. You just have to drop them somewhere on the ship and remember the spot. When outside the ship, this can lead to some funny situations, like this one, where I was trying to sneak this bomb onto an enemy ship, but I had to drop the bomb to shoot people, and then the bomb would like float away, so I had to keep quickly grabbing it. The fact that all of this holds together and you can just seamlessly move from your ship into zero gravity and it just works no matter what is going on, that is really impressive and lends to that sense of polish I spoke about in the intro. As does the presentation. Now, I know this kind of stylized look isn't everyone's cup of tea, but you can't deny that this game has that sort of premium look akin to Blizzard's games. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. It looks like Overwatch. The bold silhouettes of characters and weapons, the vivid, colorful textures that still have a lot of scuff to them, the lighting. Like if Blizzard were to make a spacey sci-fi game, this is almost exactly what I imagined it'd look like. And me personally, I'm really into it. I guess many are also going to draw that Overwatch comparison because of the heroes. I wouldn't classify Wildgate as a hero shooter though, at least not in the traditional sense. Heroes in typical hero shooters tend to heavily define your moment-to-moment gameplay, whereas here they don't. They have zero active abilities and aren't tied to specific weapons or equipment. What they do offer are passive abilities that kind of make them more effective at certain roles, not the tank, support, or healer roles, mind you, but roles specific to the Wildgate game loop. So for example, this dude can see enemies through walls, but only those on his own ship, making him a good pick for those who want to stay on the ship and play defense. Another can use his melee to smash enemy ship parts, making him a great character for boarding enemy ships, since you can pull off stuff like this. Coming in hot. This robot dude is just a nice convenience character. He doesn't need oxygen to breathe, and while you typically have to replenish your ammo and equipment using these recharge stations, he just automatically does this every time he warps back to the ship. All that is to say that, yeah, while there's certainly some subtle hero shooter elements here in terms of its character roster and overall aesthetic, you shouldn't write off Wildgate purely on the basis that you don't like hero shooters, because it's really not that. Similarly, I've seen others looking at the PvPvE tag and getting the impression that this is some sort of extraction game. I think it's easy to make that mistake given the prevalence of that genre right now, but again, that's not how I'd characterize Wildgate. The only thing that you are extracting is that artifact to win the match, but no loot comes with you. The progression model is based entirely around earning XP from matches to permanently unlock gear for your loadouts. That gear includes deployable equipment like grenades, one-way shields, attack drones, and more. Then there's the weapons, and there's your standard offerings here like auto rifles and semi-auto pistols. There's also more flavorful ones like this Mercy-style beam thing that can be used to either heal or deal damage, or this double-barrel napalm explosive shotgun that leaves fire on impact. They all look awesome and feel great to use. In fact, the gunplay is surprisingly decent here. Feels very Overwatch. I think the main criticism I have here is that the time to kill in this version of the game was way too low. When the basic auto rifle can take out players within a second, there really isn't a lot of room for the other interesting weapons to shine. I'm just not sure that like CS:GO style time to kill makes sense in a game like this, and it makes it very easy for players to spawn kill since they respawn on the ship and the ships aren't that big. Would like to see some tuning here to let the identity of each of the weapons come through and to allow for a bit more counterplay.
The ship battles in this game, though, are perfect. I mean, they are absolutely electrifying. Just so much going on between trying to maneuver the ship, which moves like a semi-truck, to manning the cannons for some damage, to putting out fires and repairing damaged parts, to fending off enemies trying to board and overload your reactor. And these battles can go on for a really long time if both teams are on top of things. Sometimes you'd find yourself in a bit of a stalemate where each team is both dealing damage and healing the ship at roughly the same rate. And those are the moments where the game is kind of nudging you to take risks, to do something a little more out of the box to tip the scales. Things get especially tense in the final moments of a match, because while this isn't an extraction game, I do think, intentionally or not, Moonshot Studios have captured one of the best parts of that genre, and that's the rush you get when you've got the thing and now you've got to make your way to the escape point with all the other teams on your tail. Ship battles can obviously occur at any point throughout a match, but as soon as someone picks up the artifact, the entire map is alerted to their position and it's game on. I only had one win during my time with the closed beta, but what an absolute thrill it was. Let me tell you how it went down. So one match, me and my crew managed to quietly find the artifact in the middle of this cosmic storm thing, which ships can only enter if they have a certain module, otherwise they take constant damage. So we enter this dungeon style thing, which we thankfully have the key for. We pick up the artifact, but to actually get it out of there, we're going to have to push our way through. This involved clearing a few rooms of enemies, then holding some points while taking out the couple bosses. To be honest, this kicked our ass. We died a few times, but eventually we got there. So we finally load up the ship with the artifact and all our gear, and as we make our way out of the storm, I go up in a probe to scout ahead and see if the way to the Wildgate is clear. Lo and behold, absolutely not. There are a couple of enemy ships who are camping out near the gate, but they haven't quite spotted us yet as they're preoccupied fighting each other. So our plan? Go beneath them. And that's when I man the controls, go full throttle, shields down to increase our speed, and gun it for the finish line. I hide our approach as best as I can by flying beneath some large asteroids, but one of the ships takes out the other just as we're coming up to the gate. My crew then mans the cannons to lay down some cover fire as I keep the ship steady, shields go up as we get closer, and with fires going on all over the place, enemies attempting to board, oxygen running out, the ship just about to fall apart, we scrape past the enemy ship and into the Wildgate, earning ourselves the win.
Nice.
That is the Wildgate experience in a nutshell. Methodical exploration to build up your arsenal, followed by frantic, butt-clenching battles and narrow escapes. Like I said in the intro, even in this closed beta state, I think Moonshot Games have really nailed down every part of the game loop. During the downtime, there's always stuff to do. You could be probing for enemy ships or POIs, or fly out on your own to harvest resources for the ship. When you're docked at a location, it feels great to shoot things on account of solid gunplay, interesting weapon design, and challenging enemies. The ship battles have surprising depth to them. They require so much multitasking and open the door to some genuinely creative plays on account of its sandboxy design and physics-driven shenanigans. For a studio to pull all of that off with their debut title, I think speaks volumes to the level of talent over there, and certainly bodes well for the future of this game. Like I said, I really don't think there's any other PvP game on the market quite like Wildgate. Sea of Thieves is similar, particularly as it now has a dedicated PvP mode, but in my experience, Wildgate offers a more compact, more strategic, and more sophisticated experience. No shade to Sea of Thieves, by the way, I like that game, but by design, it is much simpler. Anyway, that's my impressions of Wildgate so far. Honestly, I had such a damn good time with this closed beta that I was genuinely sad when it ended, and keep in mind that I was playing all this solo. I can only imagine how much fun this would be with a few friends on Discord. No date has been given for its full release, but given how tight and polished this beta build was, fingers crossed it isn't too far off.
For years now, Squarespace has been the very best in the website creation business. Their tools were second to none, making it super easy to create a website no matter your experience with building websites. You could be a total beginner and Squarespace's tools would let you create a professional-looking website in mere minutes. Well, Squarespace just took things to a whole new level. Their all-new design intelligence framework leverages their 2 decades of experience in website creation to give even more tools to shape the website of your dreams. Not only can you select from and customize their super flexible design templates, you can also now provide prompts that allow you to refine the tone of what is written on your website. Just type in what you'd like to communicate and then select what sort of tone you'd like it to have, like playful, funny, professional, etc. Squarespace will then refine your words so it sounds and reads just right. This same technology can assist in writing product descriptions, blog posts, or mailouts. It's super helpful if you're not a native English speaker or you're just looking for some inspiration for how to word things better. That's not all though. Squarespace Payments takes all the work and hassle out of managing payments on your website. It's really quick and easy to get set up with, and it gives your customers tons of ways to pay, knocking down one of the barriers that might stop you from getting a sale or a booking. Squarespace isn't just about the front-end experience though. It's also got all the back-end stuff you need to make sure your website is surfaced in search. Every Squarespace website supports sophisticated SEO tools that are just as easy to use as everything else Squarespace offers, meaning you can be sure that the customers who are looking for you can find you. There's so much more that Squarespace offers, so if you'd like to check it out for yourself, you can visit squarespace.com to try it for free. And if you want to get serious, visit squarespace.com/skillup to get 10% off your purchase of a website or a domain name. A big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it.